Welcome to the suck, brother.
Good to be back.
Good to see you, man.
Missed you, brother.
Just in time.
When you think about Ben, played by Taylor Kitsch, what makes him so different from Reece and Raife when you look at that triad?
There's a certain level of Taylor's own heart that he brings into this character that just sets him apart from Reece or from Raife. I think that was the one thing I learned as I've worked closely with a lot of people who had made it through BUD/S training or gone through the Navy SEAL program or were Navy SEALs in combat or another, I've now met maybe a dozen folks that were Navy SEALs that I'm relatively close with. And I can say that there is always a common denominator with all of these men, and that would be their physical strength, their mental, their ability to process things quickly, like just really their mental processing speed, their demeanor, and their grit. So like their will, their strength, and their intelligence. Those three things. That's a common denominator. Other than that, complete wild fucking crapshoot. Totally different human beings. And there's like some of them are extra rebellious and total iconoclasts. Others are more like conforming to the ideals of certain politics, and others are just going to be rebels, and others are going to be absolute angels and helpers, and some are going to be alcoholics and abusive, and some are going to be really thoughtful, kind guys who would never touch alcohol. It's like everyone is very, very different. And so Ben, what makes him different is something that sets Taylor apart as a human being too, is like he just marches to the beat of his own drum. He's a bit of a Jack Kerouac character as both a character and as a human being, as the actor. I mean, he rides his motorcycle through Argentina. He chases wolves with his camera. There's just something just out of reach with him as a person. Like I started my relationship with Taylor as just being a fan of his from Friday Night Lights, but have gotten to become his friend through the course of all of this. And there's still a mystery around him that I can't quite put my finger on. And I think it's the same thing with Ben. And so I like that about Ben. Ben is also somebody who's not going to necessarily like Reece is somebody who's in it in terms of his leadership, being a commander. He kind of keeps himself a little bit separate from his men. He wants to be righteous. He believes in his country. He believes in the West. Understands that it's not perfect and that there are drawbacks to everything, but ultimately believes in what he's doing. And in that way is more of a rule follower than Ben. Ben is all heart and emotion and is willing to paint outside of the lines if that's going to get him what he needs. Like, you talk about Once an Eagle a lot, and there's no Abagnale in Reece. Reece is closer to Damon, as he wants to be the best version of who he is, and he's learning through the course of his career and through the course of his life that some of these institutions that he truly believed in, he may have been naive to believe as much as he did. And so I think there's that, but I think Ben has got that natural cynicism in him already, to where something else in his life caused him to be cynical before the machinery kind of ate him up and spit him out the way it kind of does with Reece a little bit. And then Raife is got cynicism because of his relationship with the CIA, with the wars, with his family, with Rich and his dad, and everything that they had done before. And he's just a guy who's wanting to do the right thing. I think he's a righteous man, and he's trying to be righteous, but he's got more wisdom than Ben in that way. He has the experience of his parents and of his uncles and the discernment to help him make his decisions. Ben's kind of running on raw emotion and rolling the dice a little bit more. He's more of a gambler, I think. Ben, he's taking a few more chances.
Ben, I need to know that you can find the brakes. Understood?
Understood. You have my word.
That is awesome. When you talk about those three characters, like the casting, I mean, obviously you optioned it, and obviously I thought about you playing this character before I even knew you, which is still a crazy story when I tell it to people. But you couldn't have gotten three better people to portray these characters, and then also just good human beings. It's not that you guys are all fantastic actors. You guys are all great people.
I know this book. This is the third time you've given me this.
That's right. It's one of the most significant books on military leadership ever written. And I want you to fucking read it.
I will. Thank you, Reece.
Yeah, Once an Eagle. I'm talking to my agent, but I want to do a reprint of it because it's been out of print for a while, and have that letter that I used to write people that I put in the front. I'm going to do a different version of that or a similar version of that. Have that be the forward, and then the letter that I had in the back, have that be the afterward. And so reprint out there, have people talking about it again. Get mostly young people hopefully reading that thing again as they move into whatever they're going to move into as they leave high school or college or whatever they're doing. So I really want to get that going.
I think that's important. I think that's really important. In fact, that context made the reading experience for me all the more valuable. Like getting your perspective on the character and what it means, because it's a cool story and it's a great and by the way, you've earned it. Like you've earned it as a voice in the military thriller, and this now kind of historical fiction. You're maybe the most prolific voice out there right now, and so I think you giving a forward to that book, I think Anton Myra would appreciate that.
Oh man, thank you. That is awesome. It reminds me to actually ask my agent about it again. Thank you for tuning in to the Dark Wolf Season 1 podcast. If you like this video, check out The Fourth Option, my upcoming novel, May 12th, coming in hot, hardcover ebook and audiobook. Find the trailer here and the author insight video here.